as we continue the discussion with some analysis. Lorenzo Davids, the CEO of the Development Impact Fund, who's calling on the ANC leadership to be loyal to the people of South Africa first and not put their organization first. He says the ANC of 2022 has deviated from the mission to establish a government by the people, for the people, as described by the ANC of 1972. Well, he joins me now. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. I know you've been listening in as the announcement was made over the list of candidates that make up the mix of the NEC. What did you make of it? Were there any surprises?
Yeah, good afternoon, and to you and your listeners as well. Loads of surprises. I think this is where the renewal is beginning to be reflected. The new Secretary General has alluded to the fact that this is almost a resurgence of the Youth League emerging in this particular new 80-member NEC. And that's a very, very fair observation. There's a lot of Youth League people here. And to have the Secretary General, who was the former president of the ANC Youth League, to lead a body that will constitute these 80 people is quite an interesting new way for the ANC. For example, if you take just Lindiwe Sisulu, in 2017, she was number 2 on the C list, and today she is number 52 on the NEC list. So you can begin to see how these positions are playing itself out with others like Sihle Zikalala. He is number 1 on that list. You're beginning to see people that came from the generation of the youth members are beginning to take center stage in the dialogue and power systems within this new NEC and then ANC.
We also heard the ANC Secretary General talking to some of the people who are absent from on that list, speaking about the likes of Joel Netshitjenze, saying that, he's a strategic person that would have been imperative in that role. But it also speaks to the mix and the composition in terms of women and men, youth, and just ensuring that this is the team that can take the party forward.
Yeah, I think, when the SG bemoaned the fact that Joel wasn't there because he called him a strategist and that he will miss that ability that Joel brought into the space. But the truth is that the ANC top 7 is going to have to grapple with a very, very, very different NEC. And I think that's very healthy for this party. When they talked about renewal of the ANC, I think this is where the renewal is best going to be seen and playing itself out. How a fairly new centrist tops is going to have to engage with a fairly contested NEC group. Remember, these are factions coming together. We talk of ANC unity, but this really is a list of various factions coming together, forming a national executive committee. And they are going to have to engage with the top 7, guide them, give input on their decisions, shape it. And that's where the renewal. Will this be a renewal of debate, of dialogue, of principle, of values? If anything is going to be renewed, it's going to have to happen within the contestation of ideas within this body. And that, I think, is where somebody like the president and somebody like Fikile, the Secretary General, will have to exercise their absolute wisdom now to keep this body as powerful as it is, together and on course with the renewal message. And I think Fikile is going to love this role. I think sometimes the ministerial role of Fikile is very staid. It's very, you perform, you get on a stage, you get a canned speech, and you step off the stage. But as Secretary General, I think it's going to be exceptional. I think he's going to really bring his energy of the Youth League into that space where he's open to the contestation of ideas and fairly well move the ANC into an action-orientated body and not the staid, ageist kind of approach to the debates and to the dialogues, and especially to the courses of execution. Because let's face it, they have a year and a half. They've got at most 2 years to really deliver and be serious about being visible about the execution. And Vikile is the right man in that space.
Yeah, with the ANC membership numbers on the decline and a lot of the gaps when it comes to the party being relatable to young people ahead of the 2024 elections, how imperative do you think this mix of the NEC will be in helping the ANC?
Look, it's all about how they choose to craft the message today. They are being given not a totally clean sheet, but a fairly clean sheet. And people like Ronald Lamola and Kile and others are going to have to write the script for that clean sheet. They're going to have to resist those who are still factionalist in their approach to this, about personalities they want to be seen or agendas they want to be seen roll out. They're going to have to be fairly unitary on the message they craft, because if they lose the youth vote in 2024, then the ANC is done. They've brought a bunch of young people from the ANC Youth League and other structures into the space, but if they don't get a message that young people are going to buy in 2024, and that is about their futures, securing economic progress and opportunities, securing education and health for young people, the ability to open up and start entrepreneurship activities. If there isn't a wealth creation policy within this particular NEC, then they're going to lose young people. Let me be clear about this.
Yeah.
We have had now for 28 years poverty alleviation, poverty eradication, poverty elimination as the transversal agenda across all state budgets. Everything is about poverty reduction, elimination, and curtailment of poverty. But what nobody in the ANC has led on is how do poor people create wealth? Because every young person growing up in the townships, they're tired of poverty, they're tired of suffering. How do they tap into wealth creation? Now, the middle ground of that has been, for now, corruption, state capture, and all those negative avenues into wealth creation. Can this NEC now, today, can this renewed ANC give the country a strategy for honest, credible, and integrity-filled wealth creation for people, where poor people can decide which doctors they want to go see, which food they want to eat, which meals they want to send their children to, because they're creating wealth for themselves. And if they get the message wrong, because it's no longer about poverty alleviation, it's about wealth creation for everybody, a prosperous democracy for all, the Constitution talks about. And if they don't get that right, they're going to lose the youth vote.
You've said, just looking at the focus on the 55th elective conference, which centered around President Cyril Ramaphosa's second term, in your writings, you say that it shouldn't be the case and that delegates should know where their loyalty lies, because the ANC, in all essence, is not the country.
Yeah. There is this sort of confusion within the narrative that the ANC has created over the last 28 years, starting with Jacob Zuma in 2015, I think it was, when he first said, the ANC is greater than the country. And he then further corrected it a few days later to say, he knows no other life than the ANC. And that caused, as you know, a whole havoc in the debates around the country. The ANC must stop selling a narrative that says they are bigger than the country. There is no country called the ANC. There's a country called South Africa. And it's that narrative that they must drive. It's that message they have to land with voters, with young people, with business, with our foreign embassies. It's the message that this country, South Africa, is robust, it's strong, it's resilient, and they can build it. Too often, they conflate that South Africa with inserting the words ANC into it. When you're in government for all. When you're in government, you represent the interest of all. Those who voted for you and those who did not vote for you. And they find it very difficult as the ANC to project an image that this is about a country they love, South Africa, and not just about the party that they are loyal to, which is the ANC. And increasingly, in the older generation of the ANC, that's a conflict. In the poorer rural areas of the ANC, that's a problem. In the urban ANC, that is beginning to change rapidly. And it's there that they're going to find that they're going to have to get those disciples of South Africa, an ANC for South Africa, to be aligned, to take that message into the rural communities and outskirts of this country, to convince them, guys, this is about our country. This is not just about the ANC. And again, it's important that they get that right, because 2024 is looming for them. I think if they underestimate 2024, they're going to make a big mistake, because these are the messages that the voters want to hear.
Yeah.
There are millions of skeptics around the ANC and its future handling of this economy. And they have to convince the country that they are here for the country, not just for the party.
Very well. Thank you so much for wrapping that up for us. Lorenzo Davids, CEO of the Development Impact Fund, giving some reaction to the new body of the NEC and, of course, some other aspects of the ruling party now.